Welcome to the Stoppage Time edition of the Pitch to Pro podcast. This is a highlight reel of some of the best moments from the show so far, and every other week we will be bringing you a special 5 to 7 minute segment featuring the best stories, tales, and moments of the podcast.
As we build the visuals of the stadium and what that needs to look like, that kind of takes that to the next level in terms of, right, then it's the funding part, and we keep kind of just moving forward. Remember, we're building it, flying it, operating and funding it all at the same time. So just keep reminding people about that process. And for a year, I couldn't be happier as to where we are.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And I think the message for people is, look, I know a lot of people always ask the question, they want to understand, to your point, like we there are things that we can talk about, there are things that we can't talk about. The important thing is, one, we're still well on track for 2026 and making this happen, which has always been the goal. Two is, I promise we've had really, really encouraging and promising discussions, and the interest is there. But three, and you've already said it, guys, this is such a process. And I don't think
it's a unique and different kind of project than anyone's ever been exposed to.
People like you and I that are soccer people that thought we knew.
Right.
It's a million, I know I'm hyperbolizing, but it's so much more of a process than we ever even thought.
Yeah.
And while that's a challenge and great, and timelines are like, whoa, okay, all right, we got our work cut out for us, but it's work worth doing, obviously. And so we are I think the great equalizer here is Mr. Warren Smith and his experience, and hearing from him, like, guys, we're so in a great place, in a good spot, and his experience coming and backing us in terms of leading us through this process.
He's had multiple successful projects that haven't had the fan and community engagement that we have already, right?
Exactly.
So there's so many positives to what we have here, but it's a different kind of project than anything that's happened in the state of Arkansas.
And I think that's the other piece of it too. Yeah.
So it's education and informing and market comparisons and all those things. So couldn't be happier about where we are, but it's a constant ongoing process. Right?
All right. So another question we get: season tickets.
Yeah. Tomorrow, just kidding. I wish. I'm ready. We're gonna hopefully that's gonna be something in 25 for sure. Not hopefully 25. It will be 25. I don't want to say exactly when in 25 yet. Early-ish in 25, right? Yeah, that's not what we're hoping for. But there will be an opportunity that'll be clearly communicated with notification well ahead of time, where people can go and get their name on a list, right? And that's what people constantly tell us. I want to put my name on that list. I want to be early on that list. And so we will heavily communicate that before it comes out with plenty of notice, and people will be able to jump on that. And so we, again, another reason that we keep feeling so bullish about the project is that we keep hearing in this question about how do we become part of this? How do we become season ticket holders?
And just to give you guys further context, that's very standard. That's very, very standard.
Scene-wise.
In terms of timeline, the year before, very, very standard.
Yeah.
It's actually more rare to see it more than that, given in terms of when that's available.
It's not really a benefit to doing anything now in terms of it's not we're not looking to raise money on tickets at this point. We just keep building this thing, keep growing the momentum, and at the right time.
But we appreciate the interest. We talked a little bit about ownership. I don't think we need to go there. U20s, so going really well.
Talk a little next bit steps are, I think we kind of did a little bit, but I think that just now they're getting to their season, right? So they're doing their preseason. They're going to get their scrimmages. We'll have schedule posted. People can go watch them.
Yep.
And that's pretty cool. You can start looking at players that potentially could become professional and they're college players down the road, right? Doesn't mean they're going to play for USL Arkansas. We hope they do, and that's a complete goal of ours to have homegrown talent. But we just want them to develop and play, right? At this point, and them playing together, playing against colleges, playing against other MLS academies, and having that talent together is just going to elevate that whole program. So couldn't be happier with where they are right now.
Awesome. Well, man, I think we're coming up on, I think we've answered a lot in terms of what we're doing. We're continuing the work on stadium. We're continuing on the fundraising, building, flying, operating all at the same time, the plane.
Yep.
I think it was a great opportunity for us to come together, take a breath, take stock of what we've done and achieved together. And not just as a team, but again, with our community. I think the responses that we've gotten from you guys has just been, we knew that we had something, right? When we were excited.
Yep.
We never dreamed of the response that we've gotten already, again, without an official team name, the branding and all that stuff. And so it just gives us even that much more excitement and hope in the potential of this project. So, Chris, I really appreciate you coming on to the show. I know everybody else listening appreciates you coming on, and glad to hear from you. And we hope you enjoyed the conversation, guys. And we've done so much together, and this is just the beginning. We're just getting started. And so
thank you, Wes, for documenting the history here, right? I mean, this is this process is about the history of the club. And so that's pretty cool, because you don't know what 20, 30 years from now, right? They could be documenting, looking back at like, where did this thing start? This is where it was. So no, it's amazing. Great process. And we're so excited for the community.
Perfect. Well, we hope you enjoyed this conversation. Be sure to turn in to the next episode of Pitch to Pro. Till next time, Northwest Arkansas. Thank you for joining us for this Stoppage Time special of the Pitch to Pro podcast. If you've enjoyed the conversation, you can click watch the full episode here. Be sure to tune in next Thursday for a new episode of the Pitch to Pro podcast, the official podcast of USL Arkansas. Available on YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere you get your podcasts.